Alright, so I just want to briefly talk about some of the things that I like about squatting or pressing from the pins, and some of the benefits that they offer that's different than your typical paused reps. So reps from the pins just really aren't as forgiving as your normal paused reps. So if you lose balance at the beginning of a rep or your bar path is off just a little bit, it can be really hard to make the adjustments in order to complete the rep successfully. So it kind of trains the bar path a little bit differently than your paused reps, and it trains the positional awareness a little bit differently too. But also on that same note, if you start a rep off in a poor position or with a poor bar path, you can just dump the weight back down onto the pins. You don't have to grind out that rep. You can basically bail on the rep, totally unload yourself, and then reset again. With the normal pause reps, you have to grind through it. Or I guess you could dump the bar onto the floor, but then you'd have to get the bar back up to the rack, which can be really annoying. So the pins just provide some support mentally, knowing that you can just bail on a bad rep. And the other thing with pause reps is that it's really easy to cheat. When you have a heavy load on the bar, it's really easy to lower the weight, pause, and then bounce out of the bottom using the stretch reflex. Now, this isn't necessarily wrong or bad, but it can sort of defeat some of the purpose for doing paused reps in the first place. You can't do that with reps from the pins. And the last thing that I really like about the pins is that it allows for consistency with the depth. Regardless of what depth you're trying to squat down to or lower the bar down to, the pins will allow for it to be consistent. And then if you're using shorter ranges of motion, you can really overload the movements. And this can be a really good strategy to train yourself to get more comfortable using the heavier loads. Using loads that you typically don't use, and even using loads higher than your 1 rep max. And so if you've never really done reps from the pins in your training, I'd suggest you try it out and see if you like it.